Greetings, Nigeria. In a development that has immediately ignited national debate, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration has transmitted a major tax amendment bill to the Senate, triggering a wave of reactions from lawmakers, business groups, civil society, and ordinary citizens. The proposed changes touch the heart of how Nigerians and companies will be taxed in the years ahead, and the stakes could not be higher. Is this the bold fiscal reform needed to strengthen public finances and fund development, or does it risk placing additional pressure on already strained households and businesses? The bill's arrival in the upper chamber has set the stage for intense legislative scrutiny, political negotiation, and public argument. Stay locked in as we examine this high-impact tax move, the key provisions under discussion, the sharp reactions it has provoked, and the far-reaching implications for the economy and everyday life. This news is packed with tension analysis and insights that will keep you fully engaged. The tax amendment bill forms part of the broader fiscal reform agenda of the Tinubu administration. Officials describe the proposals as necessary to improve revenue collection, close loopholes, modernize the tax system, and align Nigeria with contemporary global practices. Sources indicate that the bill addresses multiple areas, including adjustments to existing tax rates, compliance mechanisms, digital economy, taxation, and measures aimed at broadening the tax base. The government argues that sustainable public finances are essential for infrastructure security and social investment. But what exactly is contained in the amendment bill and which groups stand to be most affected? The emerging details are already fueling strong opinions on all sides. According to preliminary information circulating among lawmakers and tax professionals, the bill includes provisions that could alter company income tax frameworks, introduce or refine taxes on digital transactions, and strengthen enforcement tools available to revenue authorities. In a private discussion among senators, shortly after the bill's arrival, one lawmaker is said to have remarked, "The revenue challenge is real, and we cannot continue with a system that leaves too much uncollected. But we must also protect small businesses and low-income earners." Another senator responded, "The details will determine everything. If the burden falls disproportionately on the wrong people, the political and economic cost will be high." The exchange reflected the careful balance the Senate will be expected to strike. Business associations have begun issuing statements, some welcoming the effort to create a more efficient tax environment, while others warn against measures that could increase the cost of doing business or discourage investment. Civil society groups are calling for transparency, public hearings, and careful assessment of the social impact. Ordinary citizens are already debating the proposals in markets offices and online forums, with many expressing concern about any additional financial pressure. As the bill begins its journey through the Senate, the central question is whether the final version will strengthen the fiscal foundation of the country or create new hardships for households and enterprises. The debate is only beginning, and the stakes are considerable. Tax policy sits at the intersection of economics, politics, and daily survival for millions of Nigerians. In an economy still recovering from previous shocks and adjusting to ongoing reforms, any change in the tax regime is closely watched. In one reconstructed conversation at a small business owners meeting in Lagos, a trader addresses the group. "We already struggle with multiple levies and high costs. If this new bill adds more without clear benefits, it will hurt us." A fellow participant replies, "If the money is used for better roads power and security, maybe it is worth it. But we need to see the results, not just the collection." The exchange captures the mix of skepticism and conditional hope that runs through much of the public reaction. The Presidency and the Ministry of Finance have emphasized that the amendment is designed to create fairness, improve compliance, and generate the resources required for national development. Critics and cautious observers insist that the process must be inclusive, the impact carefully modeled, and the final legislation sensitive to the realities of different income groups and business sizes. Behind the transmission of the tax amendment bill, what strategic calculations, political negotiations, and potential flashpoints are emerging in the Senate and beyond? The full picture is still taking shape. Political and economic analysts view the bill as a significant test of the administration's ability to advance difficult fiscal reforms. In closed discussions, some advisors stress the urgency of increasing non-oil revenue, while legislative leaders focus on the need for broad consultation and political management of the process. Questions about the timing, the specific rates and thresholds, and the readiness of the tax administration to implement new rules remain central to the conversation. Detailed overview of the main areas the amendment bill is expected to address, timeline of the legislative process, and the stages the bill will pass through in the Senate and beyond. Reactions from key stakeholders, including the organized private sector, professional associations, state governments, and opposition voices. Public conversation across social media, traditional media, and community forums, reflecting the diversity of opinion. Speculative scenarios on how the final legislation could affect different segments of the economy and society. Interviews and reconstructed discussions with lawmakers, tax experts, business owners, and ordinary citizens. Broader implications for fiscal federalism, revenue allocation, and the financing of national development priorities. This transmission of a major tax amendment bill by the Tinubu administration to the Senate marks an important moment in the country's fiscal reform journey. Whether the process produces a balanced and effective framework or becomes a source of prolonged controversy, the coming legislative debates will be closely watched. Nigerians are looking for a tax system that is fair, efficient, and supportive of both growth and equity. What is your assessment of the new tax amendment bill and the reactions it has generated? Share your views in the comments, subscribe, and stay with us for continuous updates on this developing news. This is your channel for clear analysis of the issues that shape our economy and our daily lives. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and keep the conversation going.